So it's time for a good old-fashioned mail call. I picked up some key books, including one that I showed you myself picking up in a previous video. Let's take a look at what I got up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hey there, comic book community. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And in this video, we're going to do a little bit of a mail call, unbox some books that I got in this week. And there are, I think, 3 keys that I got today. And I got some other books earlier this week. These were all Whatnot purchases. And so I'd already unboxed these. And one of them is interesting. I picked up. This was a book that was hot like a year ago. And that's Ghost Rider number 2 from the second series, the 1990 series. And it is the first appearance of Blackout, who there was some rumor, there's speculation that Blackout would be whatever. But what's interesting about this book is that it's not the highest of grade, but notice there's no price on it. And it says not for resale down here. I believe, and it doesn't list this on Key Collector, which is a little bit strange. I believe this is a Toy Biz variant. I could be wrong. I checked it on Cover Price, and the variant doesn't come up on Cover Price. Actually, I do have it. It's a Marvel Legends reprint from 2002. So it's a reprint book. I picked that up a bunch with some other stuff. I won this Spider-Man number 1 in a giveaway in a room I dropped into. Looks to be pretty high grade. If it's a 9.8 contender, I might submit it. This book, I think, is really interesting. That was just protection, right? Yeah. I got on Whatnot, and I got this. It's a lower grade. Somebody even did like some math on it, and I don't know, didn't finish it. But it's Action Comics 285. I'll probably just keep this in the PC. It's when Supergirl's introduced to the world. When she premiered in 252, Superman kind of kept her a secret until she was ready to use her powers. I also picked up, I had all picked this up in the same deal, Giant Size Avengers number 3. Not one of the bigger keys in that run, but I thought that was a pretty cool book to have. Giant Size Master of Kung Fu number 1. Nice giant size book. A Miller Daredevil 165 with Dr. Octopus. And finally, yeah, this is lower grade. And this was the problem. I had bid on this. There's even a friggin' hole there. I had bid on this, and they says, yeah, it's lower grade. It's got this going on. So that was my mistake. That was a Whatnot mistake where I kind of bid on it, and then he disclosed the issue with it. I probably should have asked to cancel it, but whatever. I didn't. So let's take a look at some of the books that I got in today, actually. And this first one is from Eggplant Comics. On Monday, I was in his show. He had actually sent me a message. He was doing a show. I was like, okay, I'm doing a show later that night. And he stopped into my show and bought a lot of books in my Avengers night. By the way, on Whatnot, coming up on the 29th, I will be doing a big Marvel Silver Age sale. Have some early Hulks, some Silver Age Captain Americas, and a bunch of other books. I've been trying to get this book. I've gotten an 8 and a 9, and there is a little bit of staple stress on this. It is a nice copy for the, I got it for a good price. I have several of this. Like I said, I've gotten a graded 8 and 9. Firestorm number 1. If DC ever gets their act together, this would be a character that I would have to think is going to appear at some point. And if you look at comparable DC versus Marvel Keys. It's really weird. Now this, Bubble Mailer. And I thought it wasn't one of the key books that I picked up, but I think it is. Book I got for a pretty good deal. And it's a book I just couldn't say no to it. This is now, I think, the 6th copy I have of this book. It was hard to tell the grade. Obviously an inexperienced seller. Boom. Green Lantern 87, the first appearance of John Stewart. It looked pretty clean to me. And I'm going to take this out of the bag and take a closer look, because I kind of bought this on a lark. And I paid, it was listed, it was a new listing. This is pretty clean. This is a pretty clean copy. It was listed, new listing at $400. And I don't see anything dramatically wrong with this book. There's some dimpling that's pressable. I threw out an offer of $350 because, yeah, some bending back here that's pressable. What I saw on the scans was no. I didn't see any stains, and I didn't see any creases, and there aren't. The book is pretty clean. Now, this is a thicker book. Some people make the mistake and say it's square bound. It's not square bound. It looks, they kind of have this faux square bound binding, but it is a stapled book. It's a larger number of pages. In the mid-1971, DC jumped from 15 cents to 25 cents, and in order to rationalize that jump in price, they went from 32 pages to 48 pages. And that lasted about a year until mid-1972. This book is going to clean up very nicely with the press. I'm thinking the absolute floor on this is a 7. And I think this could be... There's a little bit of something up there. This could be an 8. So I think I made the right move in picking up. I made an offer of $350, and the offer was accepted. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages to the centerfold. Indeed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm exceedingly happy with this purchase. This is, there's a little bit of a crease up there in the top right corner, but look how white that is. Man, that is a pretty book. I am thinking possible 8 on that. And let's say, like I said, a 7 is the floor on that book. And that Green Lantern, and this is a book that soared right at the beginning of last year. And I got several high-grade copies. I have actually 2 graded 8.5s. I have 2 high-grade copies out at CGC right now. A 7 is a $660 book. There haven't been a lot of sales lately. A 5.5 sold for $467. That's kind of in line with where the book has been over the last 10 months, let's say. So, yeah, that 660 is from March, and then there was a 7.5 that sold for $800 in May, and an 8.0 that sold for $975 in January. So, quite possibly a double up there. Very happy with that, despite the bubble mailer. So I think with tax and everything, their shipping was like $364 or something like that. So great pickup there. Now, if you watched one of my videos recently, I went on eBay to look for a deal, and I'm like, did I find one? I believe this is the book that I went after. I don't think it was as good a deal as the Green Lantern 87, just because the book is not as big a key. And I believe that's this book. Save the bubble wrap. Save the Gemini. Very nicely packaged by, what was it? Underground Comics, I think, was the seller. We're going to take some tape off the edges here. And so this is an early Teen Titans appearance. Their second appearance, actually. And the first appearance of Wonder Girl. Interesting story on Wonder Girl. For those of you that aren't familiar, when in their first appearance, they weren't called the Teen Titans. There was a Brave and the Bold team up with Robin, Kid Flash, and Aqualad. They didn't include Speedy for some reason. Might have been editorial, whoever was in charge of those characters. But those three characters teamed up against Mr. Twister, and that's considered the first appearance of the Teen Titans. It's kind of really a proto-appearance because they're not called the Teen Titans. It's just Robin, Kid Flash, and Aqualad. And so they wanted to try again. And rather than including Speedy, I guess they just looked at like a cover of Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman did stories at the time where they told, much like Superman with Superboy and Super Baby stories, they told stories of a younger Wonder Woman training, younger Princess Diana training on Paradise Island, Wonder Girl, and that's a nice Mylar. Okay. So here's the book. Anyway, they didn't realize that Wonder Girl wasn't a separate character, so they put Wonder Girl in Brave and the Bold number 60, which is really the first titular appearance of the Teen Titans. She's looking awful goofy there, but you got the other three, and then they throw Wonder Girl in there. And so I'm going to open this up. Now, some of the people, viewers of the video, were like, I think that the centerfold may have been detached to the bottom staple because the pictures did not show the centerfold, but they showed like maybe the page after the centerfold. So let's take a look. Now, let's take a look at the book itself. They graded it, I think, a 3.5. I thought it looked more like a 5. Maybe a little bit higher. So, it's got that wonderful Silver Age smell. Now, this is a tight copy, right? There's wear on it, but nothing that would really take away. It's got a little bit of a notch, which I saw. That's not major. And the back cover is pretty white. So let's do the page count, and we'll see how the centerfold lies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, the centerfold is, and the centerfold's completely detached. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So centerfold being completely detached is not not a huge downgrade in grading. Now, I go by ETA Nick's cheat sheet. ETA Nick has a YouTube channel. He recently retired from his YouTube channel, but he has a lot of great content, especially on grading. So if you really want to know about comic book grading, go there and look at his tutorials. They're in-depth, and they're really well done. And he has a cheat sheet, which you can Google ETA Nick cheat sheet, and it comes up. So the centerfold is detached completely is a max of a 7. You're not going to likely get above a 7 with that, but I wasn't expecting a 7 on this book anyway. There is a little bit of kind of color rub loss along the spine, but really other than that, that spine is pretty darn, clean. There's color loss, there's some bending up at the top staple, but glossy, flat. I'm thinking, and there aren't creases on, or stains. There's that notch at the back, and there's a little bit of dust shadow throughout the book on the interior pages. That's not a big deal. So, again, I'm kind of thinking 5, maybe 5.5. And if that doesn't really deviate from what I estimated looking at it on eBay, it would be better if the centerfold was detached, but that's probably maybe a 0.5 differential in value. For instance, a 5.5, there aren't a lot of recent sales, but a 5.5 recently sold for $384. Fives go for about $260 is the fair market value. There was a sale back in January, and that seems to be about right, $2 to $250. So the only question is, and I do not have the expertise or the daring to try to reattach a centerfold. That, and the other thing too is this lies beautifully. The only thing I'm wondering, and I don't think so, I was wondering if it was pressed. I don't think so. It does smell a little bit musty. And a little tip, if you want to get rid of a musty smell, put it in a chamber with some baking soda. Just like not baking soda like on the book or anything, but put it on a rack, and then like a little container of baking soda in there, and that should diminish some of the smell over time. But the staples are tight on the exterior cover. The only really major defect is that centerfold attached, and again, that's not something I'm thinking is going to limit it in this grade. Maybe if the centerfold is attached, it could be a 5.5 or a 6. But I'm thinking again a floor of a 5.0. So I'm pleased with that purchase. I'm definitely going to. I bought it for like $125, I think. I'm gonna get more. It's worth more than that, I believe. And if I get this graded, it will grade out, I think, fairly well. So happy with that book. Really happy with the Green Lantern 87 that I have to put. I'm going to put that in a bag and board right now because the bag and the board was a little tight and a little wrinkly. But this is going into a pile to clean and press and go out to CGC. This is a beautiful copy. Beautiful. Really happy with that. So, love that book. That's one of my favorite books because it's a January 72 cover date. I collect DC 72, and it falls right in my wheelhouse. And I think, it's speculation-wise, he's coming to a movie. Unless Discovery are complete idiots, he's going to be a major character in a movie, and that book could see a lot of increase in value because increased in value with nothing more than speculation, not even rumors, because there was never any real talk about him being in the HBO Max series, which seems to still be in play, despite everything else that Warner Brothers Discovery is canceling. It seems the Green Lantern series hasn't been canceled as of yet, but regardless, there was no Jon Stewart casting or mention of that. I think they're saving him and Hal Jordan for a theatrical film, and looking forward to that. I think that could be a really great book. So, anyway, that's my mail call. I think that's a really good one for this week, and you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.